Hello, and thank you for joining us on Classic Vinyl Podcast. This is the podcast where we listen to and review songs and albums from the classic vinyl era of the 60s and 70s. I'm one of your hosts, Justin, and like always, I'm joined in the basement studio by the guy that could have tripped out easy, but he changed his ways. Tyler?
Yeah, I guess I could have tripped out easily.
Well, no, I'm the one that tripped out easy.
Oh.
You're the one that needs to change your ways.
I do need to change my ways.
Maybe you're the one that could have tripped out easy. I'm not sure.
I'll tell you right now, any trick in the book, I'll take it. Superman ain't got nothing on me.
You're pretty close. Pretty close.
Yeah.
So today we're doing Donovan and Sunshine Superman.
A window today.
So this is a song suggested to us by George R. from Spokane, Washington. And we're going to get right to it. This is a song I've known forever, but we'll get into your history on this in a minute. Right. But let me give you a little history on Donovan first. Of course, Donovan was born Donovan Leitch. I think that's the way you say it, or Leitch. He formed his band or his solo band, whatever you want to call it, in 1964 in Glasgow, Scotland. He's obviously the founder of this band. Vocals, guitar, songwriter, everything. He's been active since he formed in 1964, is still active today. Now, let me tell you who Donovan consists of, the band. It consists of Donovan. Okay, there we go.
And not even Donovan Leitch, just Donovan. Just the first name.
Just Donovan, yeah. So he emerged from the UK, kind of had a folk scene going on there. He emerged from that, and there were early comparisons to him, to Bob Dylan a little bit, because he was a singer-songwriter playing an acoustic guitar, but he really evolved into more of a pop folk or psychedelic kind of sound you got from Donovan, most of his well-known songs. But he did sign a record contract with Pi Records with the UK in 1965 and Epic Records in the US. It's estimated Donovan has somewhere around 25 million in album sales worldwide, which is pretty decent.
Not bad.
So the style of Donovan, it's been considered folk. It's been considered psychedelic pop, baroque pop, whatever that's supposed to mean, acoustic sounding. I mean, he's got really ornate arrangements and kind of, I would say a lot of his songs that are well known are very hooky. There's no doubt about that. His peak era, even though he's still playing today, was 65 to 69. No doubt about it. He was really kind of the first major UK folk artist to transition successfully into a psychedelic sound.
Okay.
And that's kind of what he's really known for. But as far as his albums are concerned, he's released 27 studio albums, 6 live albums, 3 EPs, 25 compilations, several box sets, and 58 singles. Now in the US, he had 10 albums hit the top 10, 7 in the top 40, and 4 albums in the top 10. Now, his top albums here in the U.S. were Sunshine Superman hit number 11, Mellow Yellow, which is another popular song and album, hit number 14, and The Hurdy-Gurdy Man hit number 20. Now, in UK, he had 6 albums in the top 100, 6 in the top 40, and 3 in the top 10. Kind of the same thing there. Sunshine Superman did really well, but The Hurdy-Gurdy Man hit number 5. And he had his greatest hits he released in 1969, which I think is funny. He released the greatest hits just a couple years after he'd formed, really, but it hit number 4. Now in Canada, he had 6 top 100 albums, 5 top 40 albums, and 3 top 10s. Once again, Sunshine Superman at number 4, Mellow Yellow at number 7, and The Hurdy-Gurdy Man at number 8. Worldwide, I mean, kind of the same type of success he had in North America and the UK. Now singles in the US, 12 singles in the top 100, 9 in the top 40, 4 singles in the top 10. Sunshine Superman, the song we're doing today, hit number 1 here in the U.S. Mellow Yellow, number 2, and Hurdy-Gurdy Man hit number 5. And I think those are probably his 3 most popular songs, without a doubt. Now in the UK, 15 singles in the top 100, 10 in the top 40, 4 singles in the top 10. Catch the Wind, which is kind of not a very popular song here in the U.S., hit number 4 there, and Jennifer Juniper hit number 5. But it's kind of funny because the songs were popular here in the U.S. didn't do as well in the U.K. Now Canada, 10 top 100 singles, 8 top 40s, and 5 top 10s. Sunshine Superman, just like in the U.S., hit number 1. Mellow Yellow, number 2, and a song called Atlantis hit number 1. Donovan was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2012. He's still touring to this day. Believe he's still alive. I guess that depends on when you're listening to this episode, but he was really kind of a key figure in that folk to psychedelic transition era of the late 60s. And I think he was really influential on a lot of pop rock. I hate to say it, but I know he was very influential on the Beatles too. In fact, I think he takes credit. It's kind of a joke, but he takes credit for a lot of the Beatles' success for some reason. I'm not really sure. He claims he taught finger picking to the Beatles in India when they were over there at the ashram, and so apparently he's due all the success.
Is there a sitar in this? Or is that the harpsichord?
I think it's a harpsichord, but I'm not really sure.
Okay, because when you mentioned, India, I'm like, oh, so because it sounds kind of like a sitar at the beginning, but a harpsichord and a sitar surprisingly sound similar.
Similar. Yeah, I believe it's a harpsichord. I'm trying to look at my notes here. Yeah, I think it is a harpsichord.
Because I've run into this mistake before, thinking that a harpsichord was a sitar because it sounds so similar.
Then it doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, continue.
So, do you want to get to the song review?
Let's review it.
And now it's time for the song review.
So, Tyler, what is your history with Donovan, and more specifically the song Sunshine Superman before this week?
I did not know the name Donovan at all. I didn't know this song as Sunshine Superman. That's kind of weird. So I knew this song. I didn't know this song as Sunshine Superman. I knew this song mentioned sunshine and Superman as sunshine came softly through my window today. And then
should have been called Green Lantern Sunshine.
Yeah. I mean, that's what he mentioned.
Everybody thinks Superman's more popular than Green Lantern, and it's kind of bullshit.
Well, and this guy's claiming to be better than both Superman and Green Lantern.
No, I agree.
Back it up. I mean, why are you going to associate yourself with a secondary superhero?
Good point. So why don't we get a little history on the song Sunshine Superman, released on July 11th of 1966 in the U.S. on Epic Records. And for some damn reason, it wasn't released in the U.K. until December 16th of 1966 in U.K. on Pi Records. I don't know why the 5-month delay, but we've talked about that in previous episodes. Nobody can really figure out. But the B-side in the U.S. was a song called The Trip, and that was also the same B-side in the U.K. This is from the titled album, Sunshine Superman. So the album itself reached number 11 on the U.S. Billboard charts. It did not chart in the U.K., funny enough, and the album reached number 6 in Canada. So it did pretty well here in North America. The album itself has sold over 1 million copies worldwide. It is certified platinum by the RIAA here in the U.S. This album also has a couple pretty popular songs as well. Season of the Witch is really popular, and Legend of a Girl Child Linda is somewhat of a popular song. But the album itself is really kind of considered that pioneering psychedelic pop album that really kind of drove it into that era a little bit. So this is obviously written by Donovan. This is sang by Donovan, and the musicians on this are Donovan, but he does have some backing musicians that are kind of interesting on this. Most specifically, guitarist we know very well, Mr. Jimmy Page on electric guitar from Led Zeppelin. Now, this predates Led Zeppelin, and that's kind of wild that you've got predated Jimmy Page playing on this, but you've also got John Paul Jones from Led Zeppelin playing bass on this. And both those guys were studio musicians at the time, so that's why they're on this. And you've got Bobby Orr on drums, and there are some additional session musicians playing the harpsichord and the strings and things on this as well. So this was recorded in late 1965 at CBS Studios in London and produced by Mickey Most. Now, Mickey Most obviously worked with Donovan a ton, but has worked for a ton of major artists like the Animals, Herman's Hermits, Jeff Beck, the Yardbirds, those kind of people. Now, this song is very interesting in the fact that it features one of the earliest uses of, basically a psychedelic pop arrangement using a harpsichord, which, funny enough, when I was doing the research, this is what I wrote down: a sitar-like guitar textures and layered production. So, that kind of backs up what you said.
Everybody thinks this sounds like a sitar, I guess.
But the Beatles have kind of made it popular.
But no, Donovan, he's the one that told the Beatles to popularize
He
it.
invented the Beatles.
Yeah,
You know that. So,
real.
but this song definitely, giving it its due credit, did define that emerging psychedelic pop sound. And it's one of the earliest songs that's kind of credited with that. It's a fairly long song for the time being. It was 4.5 minutes long, and the song is really interesting because it does express, I would say, romantically, devotion, but it has all that imagery that we were talking about from comic books, you know, with Superman and Green Lantern. And this is really, apparently, according to Donovan, about his relationship with a gal named Linda Lawrence. It really became Donovan's signature song. I mean, there's some other songs he's really well known for, but it became his signature song. And there is one misconception about this song, as we did have 2 Led Zeppelin members on there, but a lot of people have said this was recorded entirely by Led Zeppelin, but this is just Jimmy Page and John Paul Jones. There's no Robert Plant on here, and there's no John Bonham.
There's only half of Led Zeppelin on
Exactly. This isn't even a flying Zeppelin yet.
This doesn't sound like Zeppelin.
Of course, I don't think a Led Zeppelin would fly anyways.
Probably not. It'd go over like a Led Zeppelin.
Exactly. So this song itself did really well. It reached number 1 on the Billboard charts here in the U.S. It did not chart in the U.K. initially in the top 40, but it did reach number 1 in Canada as well. So this is pretty much Donovan's biggest hit, and I think the song most people know, even if they know it's Donovan or not, they've heard this because it's been featured here and there. But this song for him appears on numerous compilations, all his greatest hits, everything like that. I couldn't find really any alternate versions of it or different mixed or demo versions of this that we could really look into, but it's been covered by a ton of artists. Mel Torme, which I'll be honest, I haven't heard that version. I probably won't, but a lot of different performers have re-recorded this. This song did reach number 287 on the Rolling Stone Top 500 list in 2021, voted by the fans. And this song's been featured in a ton of films, television, commercials, and it's still played heavily on any of your classic rock or psychedelic rock stations or whatever you find. This is a song that I think most people have heard, whether they know what it's called or who it's by. I think it's a pretty popular song.
Yeah.
So, Tyler, after listening to Sunshine Superman over the last week, what are your thoughts on this song?
This doesn't feel like auditory acid, but maybe something to listen to on your first time taking acid.
Well, that's why it's kind of the introduction to psychedelia, right?
Yeah, because it's not as it's kind of rudimentary, and you'll get into some more complexities. Like there's plenty of songs that come out, and this is a forerunner of psychedelic rock. So this is right on the cutting edge. I gotta, when doing this review, I've got to keep in mind that this is 1966. And so we haven't really gotten into the drug culture of rock and roll just yet.
Yeah, even though this song kind of sounds psychedelic, you don't have the imagery in it. I mean, you're getting imagery of comic book characters and things, and that doesn't sound very LSD-ish, does it?
Exactly. I don't want to be too rude to Donovan, but listening to it lyric-wise, it's almost like you're listening to some incel from his mom's basement that's been stalking some poor girl down the street read from his journal.
My God, you look into these lyrics deep. But
Way too much.
But
right?
I can tell you this much. I mean, this thing hit number 1 in Canada and the U.S., so I think if you look at the timing of it in 66 and what it was doing, I think it obviously was perfect for the time. I think if this would have been released a year, maybe 2 later, it probably wouldn't have hit the same way.
No, I don't think it would have, because this song was exactly the turn in the road. Like this was a fork in the road as far as the music industry went. It did start to branch them off into that direction, and it turned into some really cool things. It produced a lot of excellent music that you wouldn't have had without this song in July 1966 being the forerunner. So it opens up with a guitar, and then that harpsichord joins in, giving it that sitar sound, this real twang that sounds really exotic and Eastern.
I think it actually opens with the bass line.
Is it the bass that
I think
opens
it
up?
is a bass. And
Okay.
of course, you were right, because bass is a guitar.
Yeah, but I'm still going to say I'm wrong and you're right.
Yeah, so I think that's John Paul Jones on the opening from Led Zeppelin.
So yeah, Donovan, okay, he breaks into the lyrics with that line, "Sunshine came softly through my window today," and then he starts into talking about how he's got his heart set on this one girl, and he's made his mind up that she's going to be his.
I wonder if she was.
I don't know. That's where it gets a little interesting, right? Because, I mean, if she's feeling the same way about him in return, then great. And the way that he sings about her in the following verses, you really hope that she's going to come around to, or that she feels the same way about him. Because like I said, otherwise he's just some incel stalking this poor girl down the street. And he does sing about the imagery and the fantasy of being in love and all of the excitement and tender feelings that come along with that. And also that feeling of invincibility where he talks about the superheroes, that Superman and Green Lantern got nothing on me. He's singing about this passionate love that he's feeling. And it's really awesome. But it's also, like I said, it just feels really basic or elementary compared to some of the more complex psychedelic rock and lyrics that we're going to get later on.
But obviously this is the root of that kind of stuff. So, I mean, it's kind of like when you talk about any of the music, if you push yourself back to some of the early 60s music, it was very poppy and lovey-dovey, and it didn't get real technical until the mid to late 60s.
Yeah. So I'm going to chalk this one kind of along the same lines, lyric-wise, as Sting and the Police's Every Breath You Take, where it's a song that everybody considers to be a love song, but you listen to the lyrics and it's freaking creepy. So I don't know. I'm probably being unfair to Donovan, having never done any drugs myself. I like the song well enough, but it's just not really ringing the right bells for me. What are your thoughts about this one?
So I like quite a few of Donovan's songs. The more I've read about Donovan, I've read a couple books about him. Well, I think I read one biography about Donovan and then a couple other books that he was in quite a bit. I don't think I like the person Donovan very well. But this is a song that I've always enjoyed. There's 2 or 3 Donovan songs, actually probably more than that. There's probably a good 5 or 6 Donovan songs that are very solid on my playlist at all times. And
Season of the Witch.
I like that song too. And I like Hurdy Gurdy Man.
I was going to say
that's always been a good song, and it reminds me of Murder for some reason, but I know exactly why, but we're not going to get into that. But I love the bass opening on it. It's kind of cool. It was cool later on when I found out that half of Led Zeppelin played on this thing. And I thought that was kind of cool. You know, I'm sure Donovan created the Beatles.
He probably also created Led Zeppelin.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he created the biggest band in the 60s and ever in the Beatles, in my opinion. And I don't think it's so much my opinion. I mean, if you look at sales, that's true. And the biggest band, without a doubt, in the 70s was Led Zeppelin. So I'm sure Donovan's responsible for that, too. And he probably released Taylor Swift on the world, for all we know.
Yeah, I mean, she's definitely been influenced. I don't know if she was influenced by Donovan, but sure. I mean, ask him.
Yeah. So I love the bass opening. I think the acoustic guitar in it, I think the way it's mixed, it sounds perfect. You can hear it. I think that's the thing I like about this song the most is for 66, the sound is mixed and produced so well. There's nothing really hidden or whatever. I've always liked Donovan's vocal. It's kind of I wouldn't say he's the most beautiful singer in the world, but he's got a distinct vocal that really fits with what it does. It sounds to me like it's bongos in this thing and not really drums, so they sound more bongo-y to me, but I think it fits with the feeling of the song. And Jimmy Page plays a good little guitar solo in it, which you wouldn't expect anything other than that from Jimmy Page. I'm sure he stole it from somewhere, but I mean, that's another story altogether. But I do enjoy this song. So, yeah, good song. Do you want to get to the rating?
Yeah, let's rate it.
Song rating.
Okay, listener, if this is your first episode, I will briefly explain our rating scale. It's 0 to 10, 10 being the best. I slapped this one smack in the middle, Justin. I could take it, I could leave it. I don't have really strong feelings one way or another. It's not a song that I hate, but it's not a song that really does anything that, tickles my fancy. It's a decent song. It's a fair song. Seems a little basic. And, that being said, I think I'm probably being a little unfair because having talked about it, now we look at this as, okay, this is 1966. This is very early psychedelic rock. So I'm probably gauging my rating of this song off of some other more polished versions of psychedelic rock. I'm sorry, Donovan. I've been unfair to you. I keep my rating where it's at, like always.
What was
It's
your
5.
rating? I didn't even hear you
5.
say it. I heard you say middle. I didn't.
Right smack in the middle. I put this at 5.
Okay, well, I didn't know. Sometimes when you say in the middle, it could be 3 or 6 or.
Yeah, totally. Because I've rated a lot of these songs as a 3. Where do you put this one, Justin?
I really enjoy this song and take it for what it is. I mean, it's 1966. It's the beginning of something I enjoy. I think it's musically a really well put together song. There's a reason you're still hearing it on commercials and TV and all that kind of stuff. I think Donovan's got an interesting vocal. He's the guy that created everything the world knows. So we're good there. But it puts me back in that time. And it's a good song. I rate this song substantially higher than you. I rate this song an 8. Yeah. I think it's a really good song. And it's not my favorite Donovan song. And I'm not a Donovan fan. I'm not a fan of Donovan. I'm a fan of some of Donovan's music.
Work. Yeah. So that's interesting that we are 3 full points away from each other on our ratings.
Well,
that's one of the biggest spreads we've had.
When I got the email from George, I thought, oh, this is a song I like. Let's do it. We've got quite a few of them to do. But so that's Donovan and Sunshine Superman. We really appreciate the suggestion, George. And if anybody has any questions, comments, or concerns, would like to tell us what you think of our rating or what you would rate it, or you have a song or an album you'd like us to rate, please send them to classicvinylpodcast@gmail.com. We really appreciate you taking your time out of your day to listen to us. It means a lot. So until next time, see you later.
See ya.